Hello, hello, hello. I think we're live. I'm watching it on YouTube myself now, so I'm that kind of YouTuber who watches himself. So I've got my fold 5 rather, sitting here. Oh, there I am, just to check the live stream, and it is working, which is awesome. Quick bit of housekeeping, guys. I've spilt yogurt down my t-shirt, which is what that is. Did that earlier. Didn't have a change of clothes in the studio. So yeah, if you're wondering what that stain is, it's yogurt. Brilliant. I hope you're well. Welcome to the live stream, guys. Lots of people jumping on already. As always, I'm going to hide from myself the comments, the kind of chat room, because I don't want to be distracted. But I do want you to fill it with questions, please, as always. Simply because once you've had enough of me talking, I can answer your questions, which probably won't take long in terms of me waffling on. But yeah, these live streams are always made by the questions that you guys put into that chat window. So ask me anything. I'm fairly sure some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today will raise some questions. But anything you want to ask me about this business and content creation in general, go for it. It's not a tech channel. The one thing I will say is that tech questions, I do answer the odd one here and there, but I'd like to keep it creator and kind of solopreneur focused if we can. But anyway, so I've explained the yogurt stain. I've done the little preamble. The other thing to do is just mention very quickly, if you haven't signed up to the SUBSTACK newsletter, the link is below. Every Friday, I send out a written newsletter, obviously, which is, again, a bit more behind the scenes type stuff. It's a little bit, I'm going to have to close this. I'm watching myself on YouTube, which is really weird. It's very much it's almost like a journal. I think that's the way that I approach that newsletter. It's just every week there's something I want to talk about and get off my chest. So I'm completely free to subscribe, obviously, and you can unsubscribe if you don't like it. But yeah, click that below if you fancy checking that out every Friday. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is the Academy. So just very quickly, a bit of a backstory on this, because it puts some context around what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Earlier this year, I kicked off the Medium Academy, and there's some people I think who I spotted earlier on this live stream who are members of that academy, of that first cohort. So hi guys, thank you very much for being a part of the cohort. It's been fantastic, actually. We wrapped up 3 months ago. And we had a 3-month catch up a couple of nights ago, which was brilliant to see everyone again and find out what they've been doing. But the Academy itself was based on the ebook that I wrote last year, which was all about helping people become successful writers on Medium and in general, actually, just as online writers. And I decided to turn that ebook into a fully fledged live cohort-based course, and it was the first one that I'd done. I've done other stuff in the past that hasn't been live, has been kind of pre-recorded and all that sort of thing. So this was the first live, in-person, inverted commas, obviously over Zoom, online course that I'd done, and I absolutely loved it. The cohort have been fantastic, lovely, lovely people, very much involved and engaged and willing to learn. And it's taught me a lot as well. It's taught me a lot about how to run these kind of courses. And they're not easy, put it that way. I think like anything that you jump into in this game and you assume might be a little bit, not easy, but might be a bit simpler than you think it is, it's always the opposite. And it was a lot of hard work. And it wasn't just me that got involved in that. I do have a couple of people behind the scenes who are helping out with certain things to do with the Academy. But it was a success. It was just from the point of getting those bunch of people onto that course and getting them every week in a virtual room to talk about Medium and reveal my approach to that platform and my approach to writing in general, was a success for a number of reasons. The aim with this was always to have more than one cohort. So I wanted to run several Medium academies throughout the year. Two things became apparent, basically. The first thing was that Medium on its own wasn't enough. As I was going through the course material and going through each of the modules each week, it was clear to me, and possibly I think to the Academy members as well, that a lot of what I was talking about didn't just apply to Medium. It applied to everything that I do, all the YouTube side of things and everything else that comes with being a full-time content creator. So it wasn't just specific to Medium. And I always felt throughout it that I could just expand it a bit more and reveal more about what I do and pass on my kind of the learnings that I've picked up over the last three and a bit years. So That was the first thing that I learned, and the second thing I learned is that, like I say, it was very hard work, and doing lots of these academies or these cohorts in 1 year, in 12 months. Yes, I think I had the idea of doing 3 or 4. Utter pie in the sky. It would have been impossible to do that. Again, with hindsight, that was just way too ambitious. To do that, you need a big team, and you need a very big cohort or very big cohorts each time to make it profitable. And I don't have either of those things really at the moment. So I've got to be a bit smarter about it. So to cut a long story short, I've made 2 decisions. The first one is that the next Medium Academy isn't going to be the Medium Academy. It's going to be the Mark Ellis Academy. I know I'm using my name, which as a Brit who's isn't used to doing that kind of well, isn't used, that's all I do. What I'm trying to say is, using your name to sell something is a bit foreign to me. But then you realise that you're a YouTuber, and that's exactly what you're doing. So I had no choice really but to call it the Mark Ellis Academy and play off that name. So excuse the navel gazing, but there's a reason behind it. It's marketing, basically. So it's called the Mark Ellis Academy, and it's going to open up everything within this business. So it's going to be an online course, once again, that doesn't just look at Medium. It basically lifts the bonnet on this business and shows you everything I do. I share everything I've learned over the last 3 and a bit years. And it's a much bigger package in that respect, and it's hopefully going to be very revealing and very useful to anyone who wants to follow in my footsteps, whether that be full-time, if you have ambitions to go full-time with this like I have, or you just want to make it a little side thing that you do. I won't say side hustle, a little side thing that you want, a side project or even a hobby, whatever it is, to make a bit of money on the side while enjoying what you're doing. Whatever your reason for wanting to follow in my footsteps is, this new academy is designed to help you do that, to give you that perfect footing. The other decision that I've made is to not make it a live course, basically. So the other challenge that I found was that, and this might have been because I was doing it weekly, but turning up every week and doing the live thing, I really enjoyed. But I could very quickly see how doing that multiple times throughout the year, one, would get quite tiring, and two, and when that happens, that kind of the quality diminishes, I think. But secondly, it's not profitable. There's a lot of my time involved in that, and I am running a business. You guys watch these Solo Club live streams and the videos and read the Substack newsletter because you're interested in the business element of this, and I am running a business, so these things need to be profitable, and to make it profitable, and to make it possible to sell this at scale, I have to go from it being a live-based cohort course to a cohort course which is drip-fed the content. So rather than me turning up each week and sitting on Zoom and talking about stuff, the cohort members will get, I think, probably bi-weekly, the module pre-delivered. So it's pre-recorded, drip-fed, for want of a better phrase. And the great thing about that is that the cohort members can then digest the course material and the stuff that I talk about in their own time. There's no stress. There's no requirement to turn up on a Zoom call every week or every 2 weeks and then worry that if you don't, if you can't make it because life gets in the way, that you're going to have to watch a recording that you forget to. You get each module and you do with it as you please. You watch it when you want to, and you just take your time with it. I think that's a much better way of learning, I think. And selfishly, it means I can scale this and get these out much quicker and have more cohorts throughout the year. So the cohorts, as you can tell, the cohort thing remains, and the reason that remains is because there'll be 2 options with this. Basically, either you just sign up for the course, you sign up for the Mark Ellis Academy, get that right, and you just get the course material, you get the modules delivered every couple of weeks. That's it, and you can just go away and work on them and learn and please yourself with it, basically. I think a lot of people are going to like that method because there's no stress involved, no turning up to anything. For those who want a bit more and who do want that kind of direct interaction with myself and with the rest of the cohort, you can basically have what I've just mentioned. So you have the pre-recorded drip-fed course material and a monthly or possibly bi-weekly, haven't decided yet, Q&A with me. So that would be live, that would be on a Zoom call. You can come with all your questions that you've picked up based on the last modules that you've worked on. and that will go on throughout the year, basically. So there's those two kind of membership tiers, if you like. Haven't sorted the pricing yet. That's all in the works, as is the content itself. And we've got a bit of lead time with this, so it's not going to go live until December. So December is the kickoff date for the next cohort, and the first cohort actually of the Mark Ellis Academy. And I can't wait. I can't wait to get started. I can't wait for you guys, hopefully, to sign up. There is a link in the description where you can just register your interest. There's no obligation there. You're not tying yourself into anything. It's just a mailing list where you'll find out when it goes live and when registrations are live, and when, you know, how much it costs and all the important stuff. And also on that web page, there's lots more details on how the academy works out, basically, and what it consists of. Very quickly, it consists of 4 stages, which I've had to remind myself of, because I've put all this together. All of the kind of the building blocks around this were put together about 2 or 3 months ago. I've just been so busy with the tech reviews that it's been difficult to keep dipping into it. But I'm getting to a stage now where I'm going to be doing that. So I did have to remind myself of what the stages were, and I was pleased to see they're well thought out. So the 4 stages are mindset, and that is all about getting your head around being a content creator and doing this sort of stuff, either for a living or part-time, whatever it is. Because trust me, you do need to get your head into a certain space to do this. It's it surprised me, some of the things that you have to get used to and get your mind around. So that's a very important part of it. Because if you don't do that stage, going straight into everything else, you know, content creation, etc., you'll probably fail. The second stage is what I call the platforms. Just a mindset platform. So that is previously it was just Medium. Now it's going to be Medium, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, newsletter, podcasting. Everything that I do and everything I've learned about those platforms in terms of the content you create for them, the strategy behind that content, the distribution methods, the way you make the content, all of that stuff goes into that part of the module, that stage. The third stage is planning and creation. That's the exciting bit. That's when we talk about the actual, the making of the content, whether it be written content or video content, live, whatever, podcasting, etc. That is, I think that would probably be the most popular part of the course, but you can't really do that part without the first 2 stages. And then the 4th stage and the last stage is growth, which is arguably the most important part, because if you go through those first 3 stages and then you don't have a growth mindset for really building out your role as a content creator, then you won't get anywhere. So again, I've learned so much about that stage over the last three and a bit years, and I'm going to share all of it. So I'm really excited about this, guys. Like I say, this has been a bit of a sales pitch. I think this is the first live stream I've done where I've done a very blatant sales pitch, but that is partly the reason I'm here. I want to get you guys, as many of you as I can, onto these courses, because I think I get the impression that, well, the reason you come onto these live streams is because you find this whole business, this whole industry, the whole content creator thing fascinating, and I can help you get into it if that's what you want to do. So yeah, I hope you find it interesting. And like I said, the link is below if you want to check out the further details and just sign up for further news about it. Like I say, no obligation. And if you don't sign up to it, no problems at all. I do appreciate that these kind of cohort-based courses, there is, although this one is going to be drip fed and, you know, it's kind of self-paced learning, there's still a bit of commitment there. And I know it's quite a big thing to take on. And I'm sorry I can't give you the pricing yet, but I promise it will be fairly priced. That'll be revealed in the next few weeks, basically. So that was my preamble, really, guys. I'm now going to turn on the chat room so I can see it. And like I say, if you've got any questions, firstly about the academy, all the stuff I've just talked about, hit me with them. Equally, if you've got any general questions, anything about this business, about the industry, about Solo Club, about Mark Ellis reviews, it's something I've said recently, a video I've made recently, anything that has sparked a question, stick it in the chat window, please. I can see we've got some regulars here as always, which is good. Phil has finally made it to the live stream. Hello, Phil. Kevin is still in Lakeland, Florida. Always jealous of that. Although we've got, we have to talk about the weather at some stage on this because I'm British. But yeah, we have very lovely hot. Not as far as you're concerned, Kevin, I'm sure, but for here it's warm and lovely bright sunshine outside. I walked back from the coffee shop a moment ago, and it was like, what's going on? This is, we're used to it raining consistently here this year, so it's nice. Christopher has just signed up. Fantastic. So is Tectonic. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you doing that. The Spark. Very tempted. Good stuff. Let's put, is Alan, there's a question here. I'm trying to learn how to use wireless microphones. On a side note, just out of interest, how are you getting on with that? That kind of suggests that you're perhaps encountering a few challenges with it, Alan. If you let us know, is there any questions you've got that I can help with? Wireless microphones. Well, actually, I was going to say they're a challenge. They used to be a challenge. They're not, depending on what you're using, they're not really a challenge anymore. They're probably the easiest way to capture your voice these days. But yeah, if you've got any questions over those, let me know. That's a good point, actually. Any gear questions, hit me with those. I love talking about gear. We do occasionally get some camera or mic related questions, or video editing questions in these live streams. So I'd love to hear those kind of things. Christopher, hello, brother. Love what you do. Podcast. How are you pushing the SM7B cloud lifter and interface? Keep doing you. I will keep doing me. Can I show you what I'm using? This is dangerous. I can use it. Here we go. Yep. So you guessed right. Cloud lifter. So for those who don't know, a lot of these mics require a fair bit of gain. So in theory, you could just plug this straight into your audio interface and straight into your computer, but it will be very, very, very quiet. So you need a bit of gain to really push it. And that is what the cloud lifter does. I can't think how expensive, they're not that expensive, these, but they are fairly industry standard. I've always used these for podcasting and for live streams and this sort of stuff, and they work perfectly. So the SM7B goes into the cloud lifter, Christopher, and then into I won't pick this up because I'll probably unplug it and everything will die. An SSL2, which is a solid state logic audio interface, which is overkill for this, really. But I got it for a good price, and I love audio gear, so I went for it. Hopefully it sounds okay. This all goes through StreamYard, and StreamYard deals with volume. So it doesn't matter what I set the volume to on here or my gain on here. StreamYard does a very good job, I hope, maybe you can all confirm, of keeping the level nice and consistent and a decent volume. I think. Don't know how they do that. It must be done with limiters and compression and stuff. But yeah, if you're all going to tell me now you can't hear me, aren't you? Probably. But but yeah, hopefully that helped, Christopher. Cloud lifters. If you need a way of getting more gain from your mic, cloud lifter is the way to go. Really simple. Although you do get some audio interfaces these days that don't need that. So I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the Rode Procaster stuff, those with the faders, etc., I think they have that built in. So it's always worth double checking. But what's happening at the moment, one thing I have noticed with a lot of brands that make this stuff is that they're making things as easy as possible for content creators. I come from a world where everyone wasn't doing this. So cameras and audio gear was for people who hopefully knew what they were doing. To get a mic working and to get a camera working, you had to press a few buttons and know what you were pressing. What's been great, I think, because now everyone is doing this, nearly, it seems. Even expensive professional DSLR cameras and cinema cameras are almost push button. You can just turn them on, push a button, and start filming and get great results. Same thing with audio. It's been great. I think kind of democratizing this stuff and making it easier to use benefits people like me as well, who do know, hopefully, occasionally what they're doing, because it reduces the production overhead, which is really important if you want to be profitable. So you use the Anchorwork M650 set, and they are brilliant. Yeah, I've seen. Are they the little circular ones? I had a chance to review those, and I passed it by because it wasn't quite right for my audience. But I think I know the ones that you mean, and they've had really good reviews, actually. I think they're very well priced. These are mics for anyone who's not aware, but I think they're very well priced against the likes of Rode and DJI. Alan, will there be practical sections on things like how to make shorts for YouTube, TikTok, etc.? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what there'll be. There'll be demonstrations of that. I'll even do. I mean, something I really want to do, and I can't claim the idea behind this because I heard this somewhere. I can't remember who did this, but someone else who was doing a live cohort thing. It may have been Ali Abdal. It probably was. I'm obsessed with the guy. I think it was him actually. He said that for one of his sessions, they took a raw A-roll recording from him, so just him standing in front of the camera and talking, and played it to the cohort. So it had everything in it. It had all the good stuff and all the really bad stuff, all the swearing, the taking sips of water, and stumbling over words and repeating himself loads of times, just to show or demonstrate that even someone as successful as him has a hard time behind the camera. I think I've talked about this before on the on these live streams. I do quite often at the moment. I do struggle with A-roll. I really struggle to get things out. I had quite a bad shoot yesterday. I did was it yesterday or the day before? Anyway, this week at some point I did an A-roll shoot that took me forever, and I got completely in my own head. Kept repeating things, just kept listening to my own voice. Just ridiculous. I could have finished it in 30 minutes. It took me about an hour and 15. So the point of saying this does go back to what Alan was asking. So that kind of practical stuff, which is warts and all, 100%, I'm going to give you a window into that as well. So yeah, that will be quite interesting and fairly embarrassing for me. Christopher says I sound great. That's good. Well, I don't sound great. The gear sounds great. That's the main thing. StreamYard is brilliant. If you're looking to do live streams, I'm not sponsored by them, by the way, at all. No affiliate links or anything at all. But I would highly recommend StreamYard. It works brilliantly. Touch wood. Not had any issues with it whatsoever. It's rock solid. Phil says the wall behind is needing a dog photo on it. I know someone who takes dog pictures. Yeah, I should have a picture of Eddie here somewhere, shouldn't I? Eddie's my border terrier, by the way, old grumpy but border terrier. Yeah, it needs some stuff here, doesn't it? Well, I quite like that white aesthetic. I think from a YouTube set point of view, it's nice. It's not too busy, which is what I wanted for the solo club stuff. The Mark Ellis reviews set, which is like over there, is just full of rubbish and just a mess basically, but it seems to work. There's all trinkets and things everywhere, whereas this I wanted a kind of clean thing, but you can't have enough dogs, Phil, and I completely agree that may have to change. Christopher, I've seen the Roadcaster. Seems overkill. I could be wrong. Yeah, it depends what you're doing with it. I've not bothered getting one because it is overkill for me, because I use one channel, one mic basically. The Roadcaster has about 4 or 5 channels, I think, and it has loads of stuff built into it for mic presets, and you can record directly into it and all that sort of stuff. Although, funny enough, I've met 2 or 3 people who use the Roadcaster, the most recent version, and all of them have something bad to say about it. It's annoying in some way for some reason. I've kind of picked up on that people don't seem to be that happy with it. So yeah, keep things simple. I always say that on these live streams. Just keep things as tempting as it is to get the best stuff and have a really fancy setup and what have you. It will only slow you down. Just get the most simple setup possible and stick with that, basically. Alan bought. This is referring to, what was this referring to, Alan? Remind me. Bought on Prime deal and try to learn how to use the Comica Boom XD Pro wireless microphones. Never heard of those. I've probably mispronounced that. If they work, Alan, great. I mean, like I say, I can't comment because I've never heard them and never tried them. But I think the thing with wireless mics, the things that matter, sound quality. Obviously, if they sound terrible, then they're not worth any money. Even if they're really cheap, they're not worth it. Secondly, I don't know if these have got it, but if they've got built-in storage, you need that, basically. Some of them don't have that. Some of them transmit to your camera, which means having a receiver on the camera plugged into the camera's audio input. Again, it's a faff. The DJI mics have that as an option, but I never use it because the mics themselves have built-in storage, and it's just so convenient. You turn them on, press record, done, and then you plug them into your laptop afterwards and transfer the file. Lovely. The other thing which is very important, is very good battery life. So you don't want to worry about battery life. That's it, really. As long as you've got those things, and as long as the sound is good enough for you not have to do too much faffing around with it in post, then Fantastic. I know that Rode have just launched their new wireless mics, which look very, very interesting. I'm sure DJI have been paying close attention to this because they include 32-bit float. And if you've not heard of 32-bit float before, I don't use it in here because I haven't got anything that has 32-bit float built in. The best way to describe 32-bit float in audio is it's very similar to taking a raw photo with a DSLR camera. So if you take a raw photo with a DSLR camera, it basically retains as much information as possible about that image. So if it's a very kind of contrasty image where you've got very dark, dark sections at the bottom, very light sections at the top, with a raw photo, you can generally recover those dark, the detail in the dark sections and pull down the highlights. You can't do that with a JPEG image because it's baked in. If you try and tweak that stuff, it looks horrible. So it retains all that data as a raw file. That's kind of what 32-bit float does. It enables you to record at pretty much any volume. You can shout into the mic, you can whisper, and you don't get any peaking. You don't get a horrible kind of noise, if you bring up the quiet bits. It's basically a pristine recording with no peaking, no distortion or anything at all. That's a fairly bad explanation of it, and if there's anyone on here who really knows what 32-bit float means and does, they're probably laughing. But that is a basic explanation of it. You kind of liken it to a raw photograph, and the great thing about that is that you don't have to worry about distortion. And because I do struggle with that, I use the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus on my FX3, and for some reason you have to really bring down the gain on it to almost nothing on the FX3 output, and even then it's still a bit hot at times. It still peaks a bit. So some of my videos on Mark Ellis Reviews occasionally are a bit peaky. They do. It's annoying, but I've put up with it because, again, production overheads, I don't want to mess around. But my next investment will be a 32-bit float recorder because, but to have that built in, coming back to wireless mics, having that built into a wireless mic is game changing, trust me. So I want DJI to do that next because I want the DJI stuff. I want all their design and their clever things, but I want that 32-bit float as well. So it's your move, DJI, now. And thank you, Rode, for doing that. Are there different skill levels the Academy is aimed at? Really good question. At the beginning of your sales pitch, I had to answer the door, so I may have missed it. No, you didn't miss anything at all. I didn't mention that at all, actually. That's a very good question. No. So the Medium Academy was designed for anyone. So whether or not you had been a full-time writer your entire life and decided to get into Medium, or someone who's never written a single sentence, or someone who occasionally writes for fun. It was literally designed for everyone. And I think I roughly got that right. I think that there were some things I could have done better with that. But this is definitely for everyone. So that it won't be a case of you coming into this and thinking, what's he talking about? And equally, if you know your stuff about content creation and camera work and all that sort of stuff, you won't sit there thinking he's teaching his grandmother to suck eggs, as we say over here. Does anyone else use that phrase? I think my mum used to say that, and my mum's from up north and she's got lots of northern sayings, which I think that is one of them. Anyway, off on a tangent. So yeah, it's open for everyone basically, and I'm going to design it so you don't feel left out or out of your depth, which is a very tough balancing act, but I know how to do it. That's the main thing. Mike, a quick drink. What are the different options for the Academy, alumni, etc.? So there's two. You may have missed this earlier, Mike, but there's basically two tiers. The first one is just you buy the access to the course and you get drip fed the course material every couple of weeks. I think it's going to be every couple of weeks. That might change, but I'm fairly sure that's going to be the cadence. So that's the first option. The second option is you get that, but you also get access to a monthly Q&A with me, live Q&A, a bit like this, but behind closed doors. And you can ask me whatever you like. You also get the thing I didn't mention earlier is that you, as part of that second tier, you get access to the Discord server. So that there's a Discord server at the moment which has the current Medium Academy members in there. You get access to that, and as you might guess, my goal with this is to build a community. It's obviously to sell something and make a good income from it, but equally, I want to build a community of aspiring content creators because I think lots of people want to do this. And if there's one thing I've learned more than anything else over the last 3 years, it's that you need your friends in this industry. And when I first started, I didn't have any. Obviously, I was on my own. I was just doing my thing and seeing where it led. But as things have kind of grown and as the audience has got bigger and my influence has spread, I've met other creators and I've not met a single idiot yet, not a single one. Whereas I don't know what in industries you guys work in, but every other industry I work in, there's lots of those people, and not always particularly helpful. But in this industry, touch wood, so far, and I've met a lot of people, a lot of other creators, a lot of other writers, other YouTubers, PR agencies, and they're all fantastic. And particularly my peers, the other YouTubers I have worked with, but who I kind of make content alongside. And in any other industry, it would seem that we are competitors. They have been utterly brilliant, and I've made some genuine friends out of it. So I'm kind of putting that into this academy. I want you guys to experience that, basically. So that isn't about me. That's about getting everyone into a room and just supporting each other. And we've had that with the Medium Academy. Anyone who's on this live stream who is part of the Medium Academy will hopefully agree that the Discord server, it's not really busy, but it is somewhere where people go to say, look, I've written this, or this has happened. Has this happened to anyone else? I think as I expand this beyond Medium, those questions and that need for support is only going to get bigger. So that's why that's there. So basically, Mike, long way of saying, as always, course only, basically, or course and the alumni membership, which gives you access to the community and to the Q&As. Very simple, two different tiers, basically. With the Academy taking 21 weeks to deliver 11 modules, will there be 2 per year? I was waiting for someone to say that. Probably, yeah. I mean, again, this is going to be a bit of a tester, really, to begin with, in terms of the way it's structured, because the Medium Academy, that was very much a trial is the wrong word, but it was definitely a first stab, if you like, which I think worked very well. This, again, it's not a first stab because I have the experience of using the Medium Academy, but I don't know how well it's going to work until I do it. And that's me being very, very honest. It's going to be fantastic, trust me. But equally, I think I'll learn stuff as we go. And if it can be shortened, or if it needs to be lengthened, I don't know. That's going to come back from the feedback that I get from the people that join. But yeah, I mean, it's looking at that sort of cadence, really. But the thing to bear in mind is that the monthly Q&As will be ongoing. So if you pay for your alumni membership, you get access to that for as long as those things exist. And I'm intending on this lasting a long time. So although the actual modules come and go, the community stays there, as does the Q&A access with me. You're in the north. Do you use that phrase? Up to north, yeah. I'm not northern, actually. I haven't got, as you can tell, I haven't got a northern accent. My mum hasn't got a northern accent anymore. She left when she was a kid, but she did bring with her all these sayings. And yeah, I occasionally say them in YouTube videos and get some very strange comments, understandably, in response. A lot of them haven't made their way across the pond, which is probably a good thing, to be fair. Hey, what's your Discord? Good question. So I've got 2 Discord servers. The first one is the Mark Ellis Reviews Discord server, which has turned into this incredible community of people. I barely get involved in it. It's so busy and so much stuff going on in it, and there's all these friendships that have been built on it. It's just amazing. So that is part of the Patreon membership for Mark Ellis Reviews, and the other one, which is the Solo Club Discord server, that is tied into the Academy. So you only get access to that if you become an alumni member for the Academy. But trust me, it's worth it. Alan. So Alan still is a member of the Medium Academy, and he says that the Medium Academy built a community with great collaborative spirit. So he's happy to hear that the ethos will be carried forward into the new Academy. Absolutely, it's a bit like these live streams. it's you that make this stuff. And I've always noticed that with anyone who makes content, it's always the audience who makes it interesting, whether it be the comments and the feedback or in this case, the live questions and stuff. And that's definitely the case with the Academy, 100%. Have I missed any questions? Keep asking them, guys. Keep them coming. Here's an interesting one. What countries have you visited? I love these sort of questions. Quite a few over the last 3 years. That this job has taken me to places that I'd never thought I'd. Well, I always hoped I'd visit, but I didn't think I'd visit quite so quickly, or in quite such quick succession. So I've been to America. I've been to New York, Las Vegas, Florida. I'm a huge USA geek. I love the place. That's all I've seen of it, which is embarrassing. I need to see more. I've been to the Grand Canyon, but when I went to Las Vegas, but I want to see more and more of the States. I'm a big fan. I've been to Canada, went to Montreal a couple of years ago. I've done France. I've done a lot of Europe, France, Germany, Poland. Where else have I been? I haven't been to Australia. My girlfriend promises me that she's going to take me to Australia. She's got some family over there and friends over there, which I really want to. Yeah, absolutely, desperately want to go there as well. I've been to Thailand. I've been to loads of places, but you realise how big the world is. The more you travel, the more you realise that you haven't done, and the more you want to do. And like I said, the great thing about this job, particularly the review side of it, is that it does take you to these amazing places. And there's a couple of potential trips coming up later this year, which aren't confirmed yet, but hopefully will be, which are taking me to places that I really, really want to go to. So very lucky in that respect. But yeah, there's a lot of places I haven't been to. Do you intend in the future to do different courses based on focusing on one or more of the modules in greater detail? Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say ham-fistedly earlier, a moment ago, Mike, that I think as I create these courses and create the course material, it will become clear that that module actually is possibly an entire course in itself, but I won't know that until I start doing it. And equally, or more importantly, really, get the feedback from members, because I don't know what's going to really hit home, and also I don't really know what things people really want to focus on, because there's a lot to these businesses, and I'm not suggesting that anyone should build it in the exact same way that I am, but equally that's the only way that I know how to build it, so that's how I'm going to impart my knowledge. But yeah, absolutely, there may be instances where that's the case, 100%. I think almost definitely anyway. Right, we have got a tech question. Like I say, I do tend to try and avoid tech questions on these live streams, but I allow one or two through the door, so you're forgiven, Christopher. I'm joking. MacBook Air M3, would that be something you can see as your new daily driver when, if announced later this year? Which spec would you buy? Not a MacBook Air M3. I'm not interested in that, really. I don't think we'll see that personally this year. I think it's going to be the MacBook Pros first. I think the M3 MacBook Air will come next year, I think. No, the thing that I'm really interested in is replacing my 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is just big, heavy, unwieldy, and I want the smaller one. I want the 14-inch, but equally, it needs to be a significant step up in terms of the specs, and the M3 will give that. So, yeah, for me, the MacBook Air, it's a daily driver for me in terms of writing and admin, all this stuff, all the kind of fairly mundane stuff that goes into this business behind the scenes. But I don't use it for video editing. I don't use it for any production work, unless you call writing production. But yeah, for other people, it will, when that eventually arrives, Christopher, it will be an amazing machine. Hopefully. It already is, but the M2 chip is a bit problematic. What else have we got? Any other questions, guys? I'm trying to think if there's anything worth updating you on with Medium. I had another story boosted on Medium this week. And interestingly, it was a story that has lots and lots of external links, which I thought was bad enough form anyway, because understandably, Medium doesn't want you to send people away from their platform, like every platform. But equally, they're affiliate links, so I'm kind of trying to get people to click stuff and earn a commission from it. But yeah, it got boosted, which was a real surprise. And Yeah, I'm not sure what I mean, I don't know if how many people on this live stream have seen my Medium rant from a couple of weeks ago. If you hunt through the videos, there's a live stream where I really went into detail about Medium's changes this year, which have decimated the earnings and the views of a lot of tech writers, including myself. So it might be worth going back to watch that. I won't dredge it up again, drag it up again. It's just not worth it, to be honest. Because nothing really has changed in the last couple of weeks. It's still the same, and I think Medium is in flux. I think they're trying different things. They seem to be going back on a few things that I've witnessed in email conversations with them, between myself and Medium. Yeah, the story isn't over yet, but equally, my advice at the moment is to not put too much time into Medium. If particularly if you want to get into writing about tech, I'd broaden your horizons a bit. Write for Medium, but also set up a Substack account, get a Substack newsletter going. I think you can grow much quicker on Substack. And equally, when you kind of build an audience on Substack, that audience tends to read your stuff. So if you send out a Substack newsletter to an audience, to your 100 followers, 90% of them are probably going to read it. That's been my experience with it, and it's not just me. I've seen that from other Substack writers. Whereas with Medium, you publish something and it's in the lap of the gods. This has always been an issue with Medium in terms of the distribution system is so poor on Medium that even if you have, like I have, 20,000 followers, if you put a story out and it doesn't get boosted by the manual curation, the human curation team, it will perform very badly. It will get 70 views, which I've never understood. Substack is completely different. It works as you would expect. There's predictability there, which is really important with these platforms. YouTube isn't always predictable. It can be a cruel mistress at times, YouTube, but it's more often than not predictable, and that's how it should be. The reason it's unpredictable occasionally is because it uses machine learning and AI and lots of clever stuff behind the scenes, which doesn't always get it right because it's learning how to do it. I'm starting to rant now about Medium, which I didn't mean to do, but whereas with Medium, it's all human. Well, a lot of it is human curation, which is so subjective and doesn't work, I'm afraid. But anyway, I won't keep going into that. Alan, does Substack have a search option? Not sure how Substack works. That's a really good question. I haven't got my other phone here. I think you can search within Substack, Alan. I'm fairly sure you can. The idea really is that you obviously you find people on Substack, you read their stuff, you subscribe to their Substack, and then you get recommended similar Substacks. So you kind of grow your reader, grow your library as a reader by recommendations, really, and it works really, really well. And as a creator on Substack, it works fantastically because your Substack account gets recommended to people who are likely to like it. So again, that's how you do this. That's how you make these platforms work. It's free to sign up, Alan. It's worth just signing up for a Substack account and just set yourself once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, if you like. Just write something and publish it. I can guarantee you'll start to get people following you. Alan, when you get a notification on your iPhone from Medium, don't think it says who the story is by, so it kind of gets lost in all the other notifications. I think you're right. Well, I think it does actually, Alan. I'm fairly sure it does say who it is, but again, that's not really the point, is it? You want to go into Medium. Like, if anyone who watches YouTube on here, which is obviously all of you because we're on YouTube at the moment, you'll know that when you open your YouTube app, be it on your phone or on your laptop, on your TV, you're immediately hit with a bunch of videos, loads and loads of videos. And I don't know about you, I'd like to hear your feedback actually, but for me, there's always at least 3, 4, 5, 10 videos in there that I think, I want to watch those. And quite often they're either from people that I follow already or subscribe to already rather, or have watched some of their stuff already, or brand new people who I've never heard of, but clearly have content that I might be interested in. You log into Medium and all you see is a bunch of old articles, old stories, and other stuff that isn't relevant. It's awful. I'd love to know if that's the case with you guys on YouTube, and even things like TikTok. TikTok gets a bad rap, but I think it has one of the best algorithms out there. For those who aren't aware, I'm learning to play the drums at the minute, and my feed is filled with really brilliant, awesome drummer content, but alongside other stuff like car stuff that I enjoy, and it's curated this lovely little world for me, which is really engaging. That's all I want Medium to do. So I think you're possibly right, Alan, but that again, that isn't the problem. The problem is the lack of a decent algorithm. That's the issue. Yes, there is a search option apparently on Substack. I knew there would be, but it's dive in, Alan. Have a look at it. Where are we? 45 minutes in. Great questions, guys. Keep them coming. Obviously, if you haven't got any questions, that's fine. We can wrap up in a second. But I do like these questions. I don't think we've got Rob on today. I've not seen Rob pop up, which feels unusual that we should have him on. But I'm sure he's busy. Does have a life beyond this, obviously. Have you considered writing a book? I don't think enough YouTube tech creators write one. That would be cool. I've been asked this quite a lot throughout my life because I've always enjoyed writing. So whether it be just for fun or whatever, whenever I mention it, people will say to me, "Why don't you write a book?" And I kind of understand why people say that and why you're asking that, Christopher. Because I think you're right. I'm not aware of any tech creators out there who've written a book about this stuff. But they might have done. But maybe it's passed me by. I don't know. I mean, going back to Ali Abdaal, my obsession with him. He's not in. He doesn't really do tech. He does productivity type stuff. He has written a book which is coming out later this year. So he's gone ahead and done that. But it's taken him 3 years, which is the point I was going to come to really, which is that I love writing relatively short form stuff, and by that I mean blog posts. I've always been good at that. Anything beyond that is a real stretch in terms of time, focus. I think I could only do it, to be honest, if I have a lot more support in this business. I think Ali has demonstrated that he's had to really take himself out of the business and write for days on end. I can't do that. If I do that, the business just disappears. Equally, I'd have to have a good reason for something really valuable to write about, and I'm not sure I've got that at the minute. Maybe I'll have it in 5, 6, 7, 10 years' time. I don't know, but I'd look. The answer to your question, Christopher, is yes. I'd love to write a book, but one, I don't have the necessary skills for it at the moment. I don't think. I think you need to have a bit of experience doing that stuff and a lot of support from potentially an editor and that sort of stuff. And two, it's a time thing, or lack of it, really. But who knows? One day, maybe. Is this, Phil says, is this X platform any good now that there is monetization on the platform? So X obviously is or was Twitter. I can't wait to the day when we can just say X rather than X and then in brackets formerly Twitter or Twitter/X. Let's just call it X now, which is a bit daft, but again, I don't really care. Let's just call it one name. Anyway, that's by the by. I'm really, really interested in X. I'm going to call it X as a content creator. I spoke about this recently. I think it was on my podcast or something, and the whole thing about Elon and the takeover and the things he's doing and all the politics involved bore me to tears. I'm not going to give my opinion on that because it doesn't interest me enough, basically. What does interest me as a content creator and as a business owner in this industry is how good a platform Twitter might be to reach an audience, to reach a relevant audience and get compensated for it. And every single day, the urge gets stronger to start using it in that way because I see a lot of people doing it. I think the paychecks we're seeing from people, you have to take that with a pinch of salt. For two reasons, really. One of them is that I can't remember what the requirements are, but there are requirements to that you have to have. You have to have a certain number of monthly impressions or something, and it's quite a lot to turn on that monetization, which is completely fine, completely fair. So there's that to bear in mind, but also Elon being Elon, for everything I've just mentioned, he is very unpredictable, and he could just rip this out tomorrow. So it's not something to rely on, I don't think, as that. But in terms of building an audience on there and having another outlet for your work and for your written work, it's very tempting. I did sign up to Twitter Blue, and then the subscription lapsed, and I didn't renew it. So I don't have the ability to write longer form tweets. X posts at the moment, but I'm very tempted to do it. I think if you sign up off away from the iPhone, it's £100 a year, £100 a year or something, which is a bit of a no-brainer, really. So I'm very, very, very bearing in mind what's happened with Medium. I'm now looking where to spend that time, that writing time, where to invest it. And at the moment, Medium isn't tempting enough. They've really pulled the rug from under my feet, which I'm very sad about. You know, I've made this very clear with them. I think I don't feel good as a Medium writer anymore, and that was overnight. That was like that, and that's terrible. But that's not that's their problem. So yeah, I'm very, very interested, Phil, and I'll keep you guys updated with what I do with that. Yes, a lot of people. Another one, yeah. A lot of people are asking this question, and I can see why. Alan, as I have been working on my YouTube channel, I know what you mean by how the rules of YouTube algorithm are easier to understand. YouTube Studio is far too addictive. I check it every 5 minutes. 450 views so far. That is brilliant, Alan. I've not watched any of your content yet. Hands up, I haven't done it yet, but I will do. I'm sure it's brilliant, and it clearly is if it's bringing in hundreds of people. The one thing I always say about these numbers, you might look at other people getting 20, 30, 50, 170, 200K, 1 million views, or whatever, which are great numbers. But imagine 450 people in a room. It's an awful lot of people who have clicked and play on your video and watched you. I think these numbers can be unfairly diluted by short form platforms like TikTok. So as much as I like TikTok and use it, the numbers that some people generate just by posting videos of their cats does kind of dilute the people like yourself, Alan, who are putting real work into quality content, and getting a fraction of those views. But what we should remember, like I say, is that 450 views is still huge. So many people. Just imagine them in a room. You can't. It's a massive number of people. So that's brilliant, Alan. Fantastic. And yeah, in terms of checking YouTube Studio, I kind of go backwards and forwards with this, but I'm normally in that mode where I'm checking it way too regularly. But I do occasionally go through periods where I say to myself, right, stop. Don't check it constantly. Just do something else. Get it off your mind. Because there's two things with this. The first thing is the benefit of doing that. So the benefit of checking it regularly, every 5 minutes is probably a little bit too much. The benefit of checking it, let's say, every hour, is that you get a real kind of idea of the cadence of your channel. And by that, I mean how the views are not cadence, sorry. You get a very good idea of how busy or not busy your channel is, because you see the views fluctuate. You see the subs come in and the subs drop occasionally. And you get an idea of when your channel is busy and when it's quiet. So for that reason, it's not a bad idea to check it semi-regularly. The downside of it is that you can get very much in your own head and overthink things. Have a video, for instance, that goes live and it gets a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10 on the ratings for views in the first 30 minutes. Immediately, you'll be like, I did this all the time. I still do it now. You see that number and you just think, oh, I put all that time into that video. What an utter waste. Why aren't more people watching it? And then when I do that, I have to remind myself that it's only been there for 30 minutes. Not even been there for an hour. And quite often, not always, but quite often, those videos pick up pace. And you might have to tweak the title or tweak the thumbnail or whatever, but they do pick up pace. I've had that recently where I had an 8 out of 10 video, which I was convinced was going to do better, and really got annoyed about it and sat there and kept refreshing and seeing 1 extra view, 10 more views, 7 more views, and thinking, it's just not moving. I woke up the next day and it was a 2 out of 10. And now it's the highest performing video to date over the last 30 days. And that just makes you think, well, why did I waste time worrying about it? So yeah, if you can, pull yourself back a bit, Alan, but I know it's not easy. Phil, I'm part of the ad sharing program, and so far I've received £500 over the past month or so. Now I've started my subscription with my followers, which has reached just over 100 subs. What's this on, Phil? Is this on? Have I missed what this is on? Is this? Is this Twitter/X? If that's the case, that's amazing. I mean, how many? Oh yeah, I think it is. Yeah, you're saying here, writing on X is great. Now, I have a few friends who are making great content on X. yeah, Phil, can you just confirm what this relates to? Which, if this is, I think, yeah, it is on X. You just said, wow, that's amazing. How many followers have you got then, just out of interest? So you've got 100 subs. 100 subs, I'm guessing, for the paid subscription. But how many? Yeah, I'd like to know how many subs you've got. That's amazing. I mean, just over £500 for tweeting. And I'm not suggesting it's not much work, but yeah, that's based on you getting a share of the ad revenue, which is amazing. Yeah, that's incredible. Really, that's why I love doing these live streams. It's really, really encouraging, really inspiring. It gives me a kick at the backside to do something, I think. Because again, with Twitter/X, it's easy to get lost in the politics with it, and I still think it's a very good platform. And what's happened with this is that there's a lot of people who are desperate for it to fail and hate Elon Musk and are obsessed with anything bad he does, or anything that subjectively is ridiculous. They immediately dive on it, and that can drown out the good stuff about this platform. And there is some bad stuff about it, but there's bad stuff about every platform: Medium, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram. They all have their dark sides, unfortunately, because they are public things, and they get misused and etc. But a lot of this furore and kind of obsession over the death of Twitter, which hasn't, well, the death of Twitter has happened because it's now X, but the death of this platform is utterly boring, and it does overlook and overshadow what I think is a great platform potentially for content creators. And it already is. People are doing very well with it. I love using it. Every day I am, it gives me value, and I interact with people that I like. I think everyone's asking Phil now what you do. Here we go. So Phil's got 115,000 followers. Amazing. But the income mainly comes from replies, and the impressions have been lower to 5 million over 3 months. 115,000, Phil. That's amazing. Do I follow you? This is embarrassing. I bet I don't. What's your handle, Phil? Give us your handle. I'm hoping I'm going to check this now live, and if I'm not following you, that's embarrassing. If you don't mind putting your handle on here, Phil, we'll all follow you. I'm hoping I am following you. Is it Phil Sledge? Shall I guess? Let's have a look. He's gone quiet. Maybe he's left. Or maybe he's just annoyed that I'm not following him. No, don't apologize for hijacking the live feed. You haven't hijacked anything. Aha, here we go. I was about to type that in, actually. Phil_Sledge. You're not hijacking it, Phil. This is the whole point of this. So you follow me. I don't follow you. I'm so sorry. I do now, though. Amazing. 115,000. You're following 7,500 people. Amazing. That's incredible. I will start looking through your content, Phil, and I'm going to get myself inspired. There's a lot of dog stuff. Is it all dog stuff? It is. Even better. I'm going to have to start doing dog stuff, aren't I? I think dog stuff is a guaranteed win, isn't it? Because dogs are just awesome. I might just, if you just talk amongst yourselves, I'm going to read through Phil's feed, I think, and just look at these awesome dogs. I won't. I'm joking. Brilliant. That is really inspiring, Phil. Thank you for sharing that. Right, guys, we're getting towards the end now. Anything else? Any other questions? This has been brilliant. I've forgotten what we were talking about at the start. I think I was trying to sell my academy, wasn't I? I was trying to get that out the door, but we've kind of started. We've ended up talking about the benefits of trying X as a content creator, and I'm very inspired already. So no, thanks, guys. Any last questions? I'll give it another 30 seconds for people to put anything in before I head off. While we're waiting for that, just a reminder, going back to the sales pitch, that the Mark Ellis I can't even say it, that's worrying. The Mark Ellis Academy will be going live in December. So this is the academy that has gone from being the Medium Academy to being the Mark Ellis Academy. There's lots more details to come, including the pricing, etc. But the link below, the first link, hopefully in the description, will take you to the landing page for. Can't get my words out today, to the landing page for the Mark Ellis Academy, and there's a little form on there where you can put in your email address and just sign up to basically to the latest news about the academy. You're not signing yourself up for it itself, don't worry, but you'll be the first to know when it goes live, when the registrations go live, and any updates about it as well. But obviously, I will talk about it on these live streams as the months progress. Anyway, guys, my voice is rapidly going. I'm struggling to get words out today for some reason because I think I've made too many videos. I think I've talked way too much recently, so I'm going to shut up now. I'm looking at these numbers that 5 million impressions over 3 months. We'll come back to that, but anyway. Phil, you are absolutely inspiring me to do something with X, I think, and hopefully other people as well. Give it a go. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for getting on the live stream today. If you're watching this in the future, thank you very much. Check out the Substack newsletter as always. And the next one is going to be next Wednesday again, because I'm then away for about a week in Berlin for IFA, which is a tech conference. So I need to get the next live stream in before that. But we'll probably get back to Fridays doing this, I think, from after that point onwards. But yeah, for next week, Wednesday, 4:30 UK time, because I've got to go to the vets with the dog. Nothing terrible. He's having his injections. You didn't need to know that. Although Phil will probably want to know that because he's a dog person as well. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. I'm going to hit end broadcast before I make an idiot of myself. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I love these things, and I can't wait to chat with you next week. Cheers.